y'all, I'm Elisa, the scrappy wife behind scrappywife.com, and today I have a memory plan with me. This is my memory planner. I do it in a big classic planner from the Happy Planner, and you can see I just document each week some pictures, some beautiful papers. It is a lot of fun to work on, and I have really enjoyed my memory planner very, very much. So today I'm starting a new month, the month of March, and I'll be documenting the week starting with March the 1st. I do have all my photos here ready to cut apart. I have some different pieces pulled out. The Paper Person collection, their newest collection, that's I believe called Homemade, and then I have this word fetty from scrapbook.com, which I think will be a really great tool for documenting in my memory planner. So I'll make sure to list everything I use down below. Otherwise, I'm going to put you guys on fast forward and let's go. All right, I trimmed out all my pictures and then I usually kind of lay them out. I like to loosely have them on the days they were taken. It doesn't always end up that way and it doesn't really bother me. This is kind of a snapshot of our week. So I just want to be able to look back and see the kinds of things we were doing, read about a few little memories, a few little quotes here and there. And so I don't mind if it's not exactly on the day that the picture was taken. The theme of the Paper Person kit for this month was food, which is a theme that's near and dear to my heart because I love food. And look at this cute pasta paper. So we are a pasta family. I have two very picky twin boys that only eat pasta things. So they like spaghetti, and that's pretty much it. Spaghetti with butter noodles. Sometimes they'll eat those wide egg noodles, but we do a lot of pasta in this family. So I knew I wanted that over there on the sidebar. And then I am pulling out some washi tape to cover up the purple. So I bought this memory planner back in the fall of 2020 when I knew that I wanted to do memory planning, give it a try. It was on clearance over on the Happy Planner, and so I picked it up, and this one is intended for a memory planner. I've since learned that the way I like to memory plan, I want a more neutral planner. So more likely than not, I'm going to be switching my memory planner in July. So they have a new line of Happy Planners that was just released, and there are a couple of big happy planners, big vertical happy planners, which is what this is basically, that are super neutral. So I'm most likely going to be switching to one of those just so I don't have to deal with all the different colors on the layout. If you are not into using papers, if you just want to use stickers or maybe just journal, then one of the actual memory planners is probably a really good option for you. They don't really make them very much anymore. So they've definitely switched to just doing big vertical classic, but there are some with a lot of fun colors that'll give you kind of a basis to work off of. Once I hone in on the back of this paper, this kind of sets up the color palette for the whole page. I'm going to stick with this really warm tone, and I love using the scrapbook paper as a way to mat my pictures. So I'm a paper lover. I think it's gorgeous. It adds some strength to the page, actually, and so I tend to put paper all over my page and then put my pictures on top of that. I like to balance. So you'll see that I have, for instance, the pasta paper over on the left, and so I definitely wanted some pasta paper over on the right. And I will add this striped paper that's in these beautiful warm tones over on the left, and then I'll end up adding it over on the right. And for this particular week, I actually ended up trimming down my photos even more. You can see I'm not using a paper trimmer. I'm not really worried about if they're perfectly square. This is just for my family and I to be able to flip through and look through. So I'm going to bring in that paper over on both sides. And now I have this cute spoon paper. It has all of these utensils on it. And I'm just roughly measuring, just using my eyes to measure out how big the box is, super precise. Sometimes I feel like being more precise. In this particular day, I just wanted to cut into the gorgeous paper to have fun, to play with a beautiful supply. So I wasn't really into measuring. So I'll add that on the left as a place for two pictures to land, and then I will bring it over to the right side of the spread as well. Once again, I end up trimming down these photos just a bit. I print my photos to a 2x3 size. What I do is put them on my phone using a app called Print to Size, and I put 4 to 1 page, which is a 4x6 photo, and print it out with my Epson PictureMate printer. And so they're all 2x3, which fits the boxes, but sometimes I want them just a little bit smaller. So I trim that out so I can see a little bit of that paper peeking through on either side. So these are just simple moments. So I've heard a lot of people say, like, I don't really have much to scrapbook. You can see this is a picture of coffee. My husband and I actually went and got coffee together for the first time in about a year when we dropped the kids off at school before we both started working, which was awesome. I mean, there's my feet on a swing. So there's simple things. It's not a lot of big events that we're taking pictures of, but I think those are the special memories, the things I want to journal about, the everyday things. And yes, sometimes there are extraordinary events that I definitely want to journal or document as well. But I think having some time or taking some time to document your everyday life, just the normal happenings, even when it seems like the same each week, I think that's something to document as well. Like, it's all the same. This is going to be a season in our lives that we are going to talk about probably for the rest of our lives. So it's going to be something that I'm going to want to have these photos to look back on and have these little stories to look back on to see what we were doing a year into this quarantine, what we were doing while we were waiting to get vaccines, all of that business. So what did lives look like at that time? Okay, I will get all of those pictures secured down on the page, and then I'm going to take a look at the cut apart cards. So the paper person kits come with big sheets of cut apart cards, and I don't do pocket scrapbooking right now. So I use those cards in a variety of ways, and sometimes I use them in my Happy Planner memory planner. If they are just beautiful cards, sometimes I just punch holes in them and stick them in just because I think they're gorgeous and they give me an opportunity to journal, or they have a sentiment that really hits home that week, so I can add that in. Other times I'll use them as little samples of beautiful paper that I can mat. I love this particular set. It has this baked bread, which I thought was absolutely gorgeous, so I'm going to include that up at the top as a way to mat a couple of different pictures. And then I loved the little bag that says thank you, have a nice day, because that's just, kind of what we're doing. We're just having nice days. We're getting through each day right now. And so I thought that was a sweet sentiment that kind of goes with the whole idea of the spread, that all is related to food. And it's funny because not all these pictures are related to food, but that's okay. I just chose the food theme and I'm going to bring it throughout the week. And I do have a couple of food pictures in there, but I think it's fun to have the same theme throughout the week, even if all the pictures are not necessarily food related. So I had this little scrap that I had cut off the edge where the pasta paper is, and this was the back. And I thought these colors would be gorgeous to bring in a little more of those rich tones over to the left side of the spread. So I'm using it kind of as a washi tape over here on the side. And now that all my photos are down, now I can start playing with the embellishments. And I went with something a little bit different. So I love the labels. Labels are fantastic for memory planning because they give you a spot to add a little bit of journaling or an extra sticker or two kind of on top of the pictures. So to me, it feels like it creates more space. So I'm going to add labels throughout this spread as ways that I can include some more stamping actually. I'll stick with mostly the labels that are in this paper person kit, these super neutral labels. You can see I'm kind of trying out some of the labels in some different places. And then I end up also grabbing some Felicity Jane labels that are also on adhesive paper right here. These are from their neutral collection and they are just perfect. There's different backgrounds, grid background, line background, all kinds of stuff. So those will also be a great landing place for some stamps. And stamping is something I'm trying to remember to get into a little bit more. I have some beautiful stamps, some really cute stamps, and I want to remember to use them. And for some reason, it's not something I go to. So it's kind of a conscious effort I'm making these days when I'm doing my journaling and when I'm doing my memory keeping to pull out the stamp sets that I have and use them. Before I get to the stamping though, I am going to trim out this card. So this is one of the 3x4 cards that you could cut apart with the kit, but I liked this little stack of pots and pans right here. And so I'm just going to fussy cut it out, leave that little white border around it. And then that is a great piece that kind of sets the color palette for the whole page. It's a nice bold piece. I'll include it over here on the left, kind of layering it with that particular label. And then it really sets the tone for the whole page, which I really, really like. So I have that piece, and now I'm going to play with stamps, and there are some really cute layering stamps in this set. And watch how adorable this is. So I have the Distress Oxide. I think this is the antique linen, and this is a little pot, and I'm stamping that, and that's going to be where my numbers are. And you can't really see it super well right now because this is the background. And then what it is there's an outline that you can stamp over the top. So I take that stamp off, I grab the outline, and I'll stamp that in black over the top, and it turns out so adorable. Look how cute all of these little pots are, and it kind of carries the theme up to the top. It's the perfect place to add numbers on this particular spread because it's undated. And so I thought those were just adorable. That might be my favorite part of the whole spread. And what a fun way to add some interest, and it doesn't add any bulk because stamping obviously does not. So super fun. I'll add in a stamp right here on that circular label. You'll see I have a little issue with that later on, but that's okay. It says fresh out of the oven. Again, doesn't necessarily go with that picture, but no big deal. It's something that is kind of going with the theme for the week. And then I have this one that says home cooking. Sorry, it got a little bit off camera right there, but that fits perfectly over there. And then I'll grab one more. That's this little set of pots and pans and a cutting board. And I'm going to use it right over there where I actually do have a food picture from baking cookies with my kiddos on a Sunday. So adding that there, and the stamping I just think ended up so cute. So now I've used those. Now this is a stamp set from scrapbook.com that I picked up a few weeks ago, and it is full of kind of like everyday sentiments, which I thought would be perfect. My dream, as soon as I have some time, is going to be to stamp a bunch of these all together on some white cardstock, trim them out, and just have them in a little bowl ready to go. You can see right there, I stamped, it's smeared. No big deal. I have another label that I will stamp on and cover it up. Sometimes with stamping, that's the intimidating part. Yes, it can smear. You can get an imperfect image. Stuff can happen. But in general, you can stamp on something else and then just fussy cut it out and cover it up. So see, documented, perfect right there. So no big deal. I can move on. And I kind of learned my lesson from that one. So now I am going to stamp on separate paper. And I have this beautiful bold stripe that has all the colors that I was looking for. So I'm going to use that to cut out several different sentiments. This one says a time to remember. There's just all kinds of great phrases. And I think it would be so helpful to just do a bunch of them in advance and just keep them for when I'm documenting, especially in my memory planner, because these are the type of sentiments that I want to include. So I have a time to remember right down there. And now I'm just looking to see what else there is to offer and what might fit in these different labels. It's actually also fun to be stamping it on this colored cardstock because it brings more of that tone into the spread. So for my memory planner, I don't worry about matching the pictures. I know that probably drives some people crazy, just like I have a really busy memory planner page, and I know a lot of scrapbookers like to really focus on one picture and bring out the colors of that picture and that type of thing, and this is just not the focus for this particular project. But when I do have a color scheme going, it is nice to be able to bring in pops of these warm tones through these different word fetty pieces. So just adding some adhesive on the back, and then I'll be able to add in that little label as well. All right, I'm going to speed this up just a little bit more. I have a couple more sentiments to add. So I'll do one that says the little things, and you can see it's a good thing I stamped off of the page because I had an imperfect stamp set. So I'll trim that out, and then I'll add one more to the right side of the spread. you can see I found some really cool kind of two-toned paper over there. So I'm just having fun stamping these on the different pieces and placing them around the page. So I have the little things, and for the record that will get added to this really pretty spread. I'm so pleased with how this one came out. I think it's fun. I think it's different than what I normally do because I don't normally have a super themey page like this with like this food theme, but I think it comes together and I don't think it ends up being too much. All right, on the top, I'm just using one of my Papermate Flair pens to add the dates on the top. And now I'll bring in my T ruler, and this is sped up a lot. What I'm doing is just adding in lines, and I'm just using my ruler to make sure they are as straight as possible. And that's where I add my journaling in. But you're about to see that I drag my hand through one of my stamping areas, and it turned out it was not dry, and I smeared it all over. The stamping smeared, it smeared on the page. It was a mess, but I was mad, but what I do, again, stamp on something else and then cover it up. So no big deal. I'll stamp on this extra paper right here. It's kind of a peachy tone, so I'll bring that in. I'm just trimming it out, and then I will add it over the top. There's not really much I can do about the ink that got on the journaling spot, so I write over it. It's not a big deal. This is a project for my family. Yes, it's on YouTube and Instagram and all that, but it's, not a project for a company. So it's okay. It's just projects that I love. Once I finish with the journaling lines, I will take this off camera and fill in all of the journaling for the week. Again, just making note of what we did that week and some of the funny things and how it felt. Just some little random journaling, which is what I really enjoy doing and going back and looking through. I have been doing this project since November, so 4 full months, and have just absolutely fallen in love with this concept. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider hitting that subscribe button as well as the bell notification button. I have links down below to everything that I used today, so make sure to check those out as well. I hope that you have a fabulous day, and as always, keep it creative.